chance to clinch the third seed, go to 51 wins, beat the Celtics for the first time this season, but they couldn't. They couldn't. And the main reason, which we keep circling back to each and every time, is coaching. Multiple times throughout Tom Thibodeau's tenure have the Knicks not fouled at the end of a game when they are up 3 points. Let's go back to last year. Tyrese Maxey situation, sound familiar? Game 5. Knicks up 97-94. Knicks play drop coverage on Tyrese Maxey. He nails a three-pointer to tie the game. Knicks go to overtime. They lose. Anybody remember that? Does anybody remember when Marcus Smart hit a long three-pointer, a long one, against the Knicks, opening night of 2021-2022? That would be obviously the only losing season in the Tom Thibodeau tenure with the Knicks, regardless. Time after time, the Knicks make the same mistakes over and over and over. And the coaching mistakes, there's no adjustments over and over and over again. The Knicks actually, what pisses me off the most, and just think about it this way. Let's start from the beginning. Knicks Celtics. Knicks are fully healthy. Al Horford's out for the Celtics. Porzingis and most of the lineup, they were made available. Jaylen Brown was playing with an injury. So this was the chance to beat the Celtics. Yes, I get it. Some of their players were playing on injury. You know, they could say, they were not trying this, that, and the third. To finally lock up the third seed and not have to wait another night in which the Knicks will actually face a potential 6th seed opponent in the Detroit Pistons on Thursday, you better hope that you pull out a win. Not only that, you better hope. Not only you hope you pull out a win, pull out the third seed. Are we gonna sit here and pray that Indiana's gonna do the work for us? And I'm not saying that the Knicks are going to finish in the 4th seed, but this was a prime opportunity tonight to show that you match up with the Boston Celtics and the elite of the NBA. Consistently throughout the season, we have not beat the Boston Celtics. We have not beaten the Cleveland Cavaliers. We were up at halftime versus the Boston Celtics tonight. We were up at halftime versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I'll be fair, the Cavaliers game of recent, I didn't think we'd learn anything. We were without Jalen Brunson. We were without Cameron Payne. I'm pretty sure we were also out with without Deuce McBride. Those 3 guys were healthy tonight. There was no excuse to not try to win tonight. And I'm not saying the Knicks didn't try to win tonight, but some of these coaching errors, again, not fouling up 3 with the shot clock winding down. Jason Tatum, who has been scorching you all fucking game. You don't think to foul him once? And think about the previous possession, right? Tatum, inexplicably fouled by Karl Anthony Towns. Dumb foul. Tatum was behind the 3-point line. Makes his 2 free throws, misses another. Great play by the Knicks in the following possession. Brunson is doubled. He drives to the paint. Hart comes cutting across the lane. Makes the layup. Knicks are up by 3. At one point, do you say, you know what, guys? As a coach, because OG Anunoby, give him credit, actually admitted fault. He said, you know what? He said this in the postgame. I should have fouled him. I should have fouled Tatum. Tom Thibodeau, when asked why he did not foul Jason Tatum, gave out a complete word salad. Just a mumbo jumble of words. Talked about, this was the situation. It was late in the game. Jason Tatum the game dictated this. No, you can dictate the game. Things happen. You're the coach. You can make adjustments. You are the coach. You can make adjustments and direct or divert how a game goes. That's how it works. You don't just sit back and wait for players to save you. That's not coaching. That's being a merchant. That's being a bystander. That's being a spectator. So the Knicks don't foul down 3. Jason Tatum hits a 3-pointer. What a shot. You could argue it was a travel, but to be fair, not a lot of those are called in the NBA when it comes to those type of shots. I'm not going to sit here and bitch about that shot because the Knicks should have fouled Tatum in the beginning. You foul Tatum before he even takes a shot. He gets 2 free throws. He goes to line. With the previous possession, he probably might have missed 1. out of those two. And if he makes two, you get the Celtics to foul Brunson or whoever, your best free throw shooter. You go to the line, you make two, and you do the same shit again until that clock runs out and you win the game. But no. Another Tom Thibodeau error that follows that exact error. Knicks call timeout. Fair enough. Tied game. They send out, this is their shooting lineup, by the way. They have I think it was like 3.9 or 2.9 seconds with time to shoot, to put up a 2 or a 3, whatever. And for most Knicks fans, they know outside of the whole Mikal Bridges game-winning 3, Tom Thibodeau does not know how to run an inbounds play at all. He has no idea, no clue, incomprehensible on how to draw up an inbounds play, especially in these type of situations. Mikal Bridges' three-pointer against the Blazers was the only outlier, the only anomaly. So what happens was Josh Hart comes. First of all, let's start out with this. Josh Hart should have never been in that possession. Should have never been in on that possession, ever. It looked like the entire second half, for a majority of the half, the Knicks did not use their bench at all. Cameron Payne, 14 minutes. Landry Shamet, 7 minutes. 7. Plus 3 when he was on the floor. And I'm not a huge fan of Landry Shamet. I think there's moments where he looks good. I think there's moments where he looks inconsistent and he looks like he's just doing cardio, because sometimes he gets cooked on defense and sometimes he's basically doing cardio when he's not making his three-point shot. He was 1 for 1 from 3. Besides the whole point of not utilizing your bench, you're not putting Deuce McBride out there in any type of situation. McBride, 5 points off the bench. Yes, he was 1 of 4 from 3. I get that. But Josh Hart is not a fucking shooter. He didn't make a single 3 tonight. He was 0 for 4 from 3. But you're sticking him out there with a lineup full of shooters, with the game on the line, to win the game, to send the Knicks home with a victory, send the Celtics home with a loss, to show yourself that you can finally beat one of the NBA's elite. But you don't do that. Instead, Tom Thibodeau's stubborn ass goes out there and says, you know what, Josh? Even though you're a complete hindrance offensively tonight, we're going to send you out there just because. And yes, I have to go over this so many times. I get that Josh Hart does the little things, the instinctual things. Reggie Miller pointed out in the broadcast. He does the things that help teams win. The rebounds, the extra effort, the energy, all that. But in terms of a numbers game and a tactical, schematic advantage, he doesn't give you that. He ideally should be on the bench. And I don't think he will be on the bench for the playoffs. Thibodeau will still be stubborn. Josh Hart played 48 minutes tonight. And besides the whole point of overplaying Josh Hart for the sake of overplaying Josh Hart when you have Deuce McBride, are you trying to completely exterminate him in the playoffs, where Josh Hart is going to be like, look at last year. I mentioned this. How the team was basically run down and injured and tired and fatigued. This same shit has the potential to happen once again, because Tom Thibodeau is not flexible with his lineups and he is stubborn. He is a template coach. Template coach. Which essentially means you go out there, you write your game plan, and you just let it happen. You do not adjust to what's happening in the game. You just let it happen. Like, okay, it's essentially a pre-written lineup if you think about it. So, okay, Josh Hart misses the 3. That was back iron, not even close. And we go to overtime. Josh Hart is out there for overtime again, no surprise. Knicks offense is a shambles in overtime. I'll get to the Mikal Bridges drop, which was absolutely ridiculous, but the Knicks offense in overtime was a shambles. It was incomprehensible. Tom Thibodeau does not know how to run plays for anybody other than Jalen Brunson. That's a fact. If it's not Jalen Brunson ISOing in overtime in these critical situations, Tom Thibodeau has no game plan. It's basically Jalen Brunson save me basketball, which I have brought up consistently. And other Knicks content creators have done the same thing as well. Tom Thibodeau does not know how to scheme offensively. He does not know how to put players in the best positions to succeed on that side of the ball at all. It's Brunson save me basketball. Forget Karl Anthony Towns having 34 points tonight. Forget OG having somewhat of an impact. And I think OG had a better game than some people thought, especially defensively. You're not including your other scorers? This isn't 2010, people. This is not Derrick Rose one-on-one. This isn't, it shouldn't be step aside, let Brunson cook. Because you know what? Teams can adjust to that. They can double. When they run pick and roll, where Brunson's going to pull up from mid-range or three-point line, the Celtics could hedge. Teams could hedge. Teams could ice the screen. There's so many ways of how basic the Knicks offense is, how bland it is, and how teams can combat it. And it just doesn't make any sense and it just provides my biggest worries for the playoffs. My biggest worries for the playoffs, consistently remain true. Hot Hand Theory mentioned this great point. They were talking about Brunson's return, how it was a blessing in disguise. His injury more so for OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, allowing them to show their offensive skill sets. Were we allowed to see that tonight, or was that just Jalen Brunson doing ISOs, especially in crunch time, more so in crunch time? It is a as I talked about before, it's a read and react offense, where it's basically the equivalent to playing blacktop basketball. It is. It's Brunson save me basketball. It's the same old shit Knicks fans have been talking about. And then the one time the Knicks decide to switch, and they switched a few times tonight, give them credit. There were some scenarios where they shouldn't have, where I shouldn't say that they shouldn't have switched, but Jason Tatum ended up cooking Mikal Bridges in a lot of tough shots. Eventually, credit to Tom Thibodeau for this single little micro decision. They eventually stopped switching with Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. Okay, well, Derek White's driving baseline, or at least driving left. Karl Anthony Towns is dropping in coverage. Jalen Brunson dropping along with him. We're leaving Kristaps Porzingis out in the middle of nowhere, behind the three-point line, wide open, and he nails the three-pointer with Brunson defending. Talk about how much of a height disparity that is. Brunson's 6'1", Porzingis is 7 foot, 7'1". I could be wrong on the measurements, but he's 7 foot. He could make that shot over anybody, let alone Brunson. You didn't even put up a proper. It just didn't make any sense there. The one time they switched there, it just didn't make any sense. Taller guy on taller guy. That's where height should be and size should be paramount in that type of matchup, in that type of situation, where any shot like that can change the game, and you bet that shot changed the game. You have that. You have the inbounds play that was silly towards the end of the game. Don't even know what the Knicks were doing. They don't, even if the play call is wrong or incorrect or correct, the Knicks can't even execute it correctly. It's not like it just doesn't. It shows that they don't even work on these. But then, Karl Anthony Towns has it. I'll give him credit for not taking the shot, and I understand, or I should say, some people will say, "Oh well, he should have taken the shot. Be assertive." Had a 7-foot Porzingis on him in a tight spot along the wing. He wasn't shooting that, and it was a better decision not to shoot it. But we did have Towns pass into the corner. Mikal Bridges coming up on the corner. Oh, Butterfingers lost the ball, cost us the game. Mikal Bridges performance tonight was, he made some clutch shots in the fourth with the mid-range jumpers. Three-pointer, okay. But there were times tonight where he was just getting cooked defensively, and I can't lie to you, that smirk after he dropped the ball pissed me off. That's like, where is your head in that play? Do you even care? And it's the mentality just sucks. I would rather have him express frustration and say, you know what? I would rather him look at getting angry and they give him the Aroldis Chapman smirk. We saw on the camera. Even Melo was more pissed off in the audience than he was about the mistake. Just sucks, man. And it's ironic, and I was eventually going to bring this up, that this same loss and these coaching deficiencies happened the same day that Mike Malone was fired from the Denver Nuggets, who let alone won a championship 2 years ago. And I'm going to bring that up for just a second. I get there's people bringing up Malone's flaws. No coach is perfect, by the way. Tibbs is not perfect. Atkins is not perfect. Even the best coaches are not perfect. I'm going to say that out there right now. Put that out there. No coach is perfect. Malone apparently has had some issues with defense. The Nuggets were 22nd in defense, I believe, ranked to this day. That was one of the issues. Also had lineups and rotations, and that's like an often issue ran around coaches. Minutes, I've heard minutes police will not be happy if the Knicks hired Malone. But you know what the one thing about Malone is? Not only did he win a championship and has more success recently in the playoffs than Tom Thibodeau, he's better tactically and he's better schematically. I would take that 10 times out of 10. And you know what? There are people out there in opposition, and it's not just to the whole Mike Malone thing, because I've been saying this for a bit now, questioning whether Tom Thibodeau is the coach of this championship, should be a coach of a championship team, or whether he is a championship coach. I think the answer is no. In matchups like this, where he is stubborn with offensive schemes, where he's just relying on iso ball, there's no plan offensively. Give me at least take the chance. And I was eventually going to make the video on this. I'm going to have to, at this point, expand on my thoughts of whether, if the Knicks lose in the first round, should Tibbs be fired? If the Knicks lose in the second round, should Tibbs be fired? We'll go into all those things. But these people telling me that the grass is greener, not greener on the other side. Okay, but take a chance. Even if it's not Mike Malone, go after a Sam Cassell or a Johnny Bryant. I'm not saying fire Tibbs now. This is not the Denver Nuggets. We're firing a coach three games before the playoffs. I'm not doing that. I'm talking about the possibility of the Knicks losing in a first-round exit, because that is possible with the way Tibbs is coached this year and with the way he can get out-coached. We've seen the Pistons out-coach us in the last two matchups. The Knicks don't have a damn clue how to defend the three-point line. And that Thursday game could be telling. Could be telling. In addition to the week off that the Knicks will have to prep for the Pistons or the Bucks, most likely the Pistons. But it's just frustrating because the Knicks had a chance to win this game, and coaching and the little things, poor. Just poor. It's not just the overall talent aspect. I think the Knicks have the talent to compete with anybody. It's the little things, it's the coaching, it's the little decisions that affect the game and how the Knicks can affect the game going forward. But if you've heard me ranting and raving for however minutes now, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you know when we go live or drop a new video. I'm going to see if I try to continue those plans for a Knicks postseason preview. Playoffs start April 19th, I think it is, but April 20th, I think the Knicks might play. It's one of those 2 days. But also as well, maybe, as I said, I'll throw out a video either tomorrow or the next few days if the Knicks should fire Tom Thibodeau if they lose in the first or second round, because this performance was terrible coaching wise. Some people just want to, rather be status quo. I'm not that person. I'll break it all down in the next video, but regardless, thank you guys for all the support. Talk to you next time. Peace.